So my experience with ankylosing spondylitis is a lot like what many other people who have this condition have experienced, and that is basically you have this source of pain in your life, sometimes just debilitating, and it's been there for years. In my case, I had been experiencing pain on and off since the age of about 14, and it was something that just came and went unexplained. And what led me to a diagnosis was a point in time where I was in so much agony that I was actually sleeping in a chair next to my bed, and because it made me feel better, and I hurt so much that I couldn't even get out of the chair to go to the bathroom. And I knew at that point that something had to change, and I didn't know that I had ankylosing spondylitis at this point. All I knew was that I was in enormous amounts of pain, and I ended up going to the ER, starting physical therapy, and I thought it was helping, but it turns out it didn't. And about a year later, I ended up with a diagnosis. When I learned what the condition was, when my doctor told me that basically you're expecting to, you need to be expecting to suffer for the rest of your life. You need to expect this to get worse, and you need to take these drugs that can suppress your immune system, that can rip holes in your gastrointestinal tract. I was destroyed. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself, and it was just, it was kind of heartbreaking for me. At the time, I was 23, and I had my whole life ahead of me, and I felt like my world had been ruined, that I would never be able to live the kind of life that I had always dreamed of. I would never be able to be physically active again. I would never be able to travel like I wanted to. I was ruined. And when I was told this by the doctor, at first I was depressed, and then as it sunk in, my reaction became that wasn't an option, that I couldn't accept that I could not live a life of pain and suffering and give up the things that I had wanted since I was a child, the things that I'd always dreamed of. And that started, I guess it would be about 6 months of exploration, of learning, where basically what I did almost every single day for the vast majority of the day was research on this condition and related conditions, and tried to get an understanding of all the different options that existed and a holistic perspective on the condition, not just the traditional medicinal approach that doctors use, but also what other people were doing to heal with ankylosing spondylitis. And what I discovered was that there are other options that exist, that people actually heal and recover and go into total remission with the condition. And there are a variety of ways that happens. And sometimes the traditional approach is right. Sometimes medicine is the right thing. But if you're like me and you don't want to put drugs that are new to the market in your body, and you don't want to do things that you feel uncomfortable with putting these things in your body that have side effects that are just absolutely frightening, and for many people simply don't work, then you want to explore the other options that exist. And so as I did this research, I tried each of these different concepts on myself, and in some cases, a lot of what I tried actually made me a lot worse. It made me suffer even more. It put me in just horrible agony. And in other cases, it made me feel wonderful. Some of the things that I tried, specifically, the most important thing was changing my diet. And there's a biological process that's going on in everybody who has AS, or virtually everyone that has AS, that if you understand and you tailor your diet to work around this biological process, you can put the condition in remission. And that's exactly what I've done. I've taken this diet and I've lived it every day for nearly 3 years, and at this point, my AS is in remission. It doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. I'm a surfer, and I just last winter spent 3 months traveling through South America, hiking in Patagonia, over glaciers and up mountains. So, it's possible to get your life back. Because I know what it's like to live with this condition, and I know what it's like to feel hopeless and fearful, I knew that I had to do something, and I knew that I had to get the information that I'd spent so much time learning and put it in a format that other people could use. So I wrote a book. It took me about 8 months to write this book, and it's rigorously researched. I spent more time on it than basically any other single project I've ever taken on in my entire life. And it's the product of I don't know how many hundreds of hours of research and basically experimentation on my own body to learn what does and what doesn't work. And the end result is a book that not only tells you how to put the condition in remission with diet alone, but also something that's so much more, and that is, it gives you kind of a comprehensive overview of everything that exists for you to treat this condition, whether it's the traditional medicinal route or a dietary route or anything in between. I know that one of the things that I experienced when I started to do the research that I did on AS and trying to find alternatives to these frightening medicines was that there are countless charlatans out there. And I experienced over and over and over again things that just didn't work, and I tried them on my own body. And I want to assure you, and I want you to know that that's not what I'm telling you about. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I've created. I've created something that genuinely helps people. And I get emails on a regular basis from people who've purchased the book and implemented the principles in the book, most specifically the diet, and they've seen total remission. Just the other day I got an email from a woman who bought the book for her boyfriend who had suffered with AS for 20 years. And she was talking to me about how he was on the verge of giving up something that he loved more than almost anything else, and that was their motorcycle trips together because of the pain, because it was too great. And he started the diet, and I don't remember the time period, maybe it was 3 weeks, maybe it was 5 weeks, something in that range. And she said he's pain-free. He's playing with her children now. And this is a 50-year-old man, we're talking about, and now she's saying he's got the body of a 25-year-old. So the goal is, and what I think I've created, is a book that really can be your guide, top to bottom, on how to really get your life back with ankylosing spondylitis, with the core of it being diet. So take a look around the site, read a little bit more about the book, but if you are suffering from this condition, I would encourage you to give it a try, because I really think it can help you, and I hope it will. Good luck. I wish you the best.